Adventurous kids explore with education and learning what a wildlife is in the Everglades. I want to explore the Museum of Discovering Science. What plants do butterflies like? I want to know about Key West. Adventurous kids, learning and fun. Adventurous kids!
Hi everybody, welcome to another beautiful Saturday here in December. It's almost Christmas. We got a beautiful brisk day. It's looking like the sun is going to stay out for us. Hopefully we won't get any rain. We're expecting a full house today for our 6th in our series of garden classes in the garden. Today we're going to talk about nutrition, how to actually harvest and then fertilize so that we can ensure that we get produce, fruits, vegetables, and herbs throughout the season. And since we're only at the halfway season, I know most of you out there are probably not feeding your plants. So later on in this telecast, we're going to get into exactly what we're going to be fertilizing with, why, and how. Welcome everybody to the garden. See everybody, even with inclement weather, we're prepared here with our makeshift outdoor classroom. As you can see here, it's fully covered so that our guests can come and sit and relax and actually listen to the live demonstration. And then as you can see, we're right off the side of the garden. So they're going to actually be able to see as I turn some of these actual vertigrow systems. And that's one of the great things about growing vertically, as you can see, as opposed to growing in the pots. These pots actually turn, so that I could see on all the sides all the different product that's coming about. And this time of the year, there's nothing better than some fresh sage for all of your squash dishes. As you can see from the last time you were here, and one of the things that I'm going to be pointing out as we go in our scouting, remember everybody, we talk about scouting, probably the one most important aspect in farming, whether you're urban farming or commercial farming or greenhouse farming. If you see something happening and you don't do anything about it, you're going to lose a lot of product. So as we continue through the garden right here, one of the things I'm going to ask my trusty little cameraman to point out is if you focus in on this very leaf, you will see that we have a very healthy, good bug. The ladybugs. Now these are just natural, but it shows that it's a very healthy plant because, again, you see more ladybugs. And what the ladybugs actually do is they eat the little aphids, so that it's a system. One bug is good, one bug is bad, that's a good bug. But you can see as if I peel back all the fruit, look at all the fruit we have. These are all jalapenos. We've got unripe jalapenos, which I'm sure most of you think this jalapeno here, I'm going to be careful because I see some. Everybody thinks that this jalapeno here is actually a ripe fruit. It's actually not ripe. It's actually a raw fruit. Whereas if we get into a red jalapeno, that is a ripe fruit. Ripe fruit, raw fruit. Some people have problems digesting raw fruits, so that's why they go with the cooked or actually further along developed red, fully harvestable jalapeno. Now in terms of heat, the heat's really in the seeds. So if you eat the seeds, you're going to get the heat. The reason I say jalapeno is a fruit is because why? Anybody in the background know the reason? That'll be a class question. Number 1 on the test. What is a fruit and what is a vegetable? Fruits have seeds. Vegetables do not. So tomato, fruit. Pepper, fruit. Lettuce, vegetable. Celery, vegetable. Cucumber, you know what that is, because they got seeds.
These are your boats. Leave that. I'll take that out for you.
So what I did was, in utilizing the automatic sprinkler system that we have here, what I did was off of the main line, you see I tagged the secondary tri-line, which will now automatically fill my reservoirs. 1, 2, 3, 4, which then feeds the system. All done remotely now by the use of a smartphone. So I can turn all of this on with or without my smartphone, and it's drawing water to fill these tanks. So we are now 100% off city water for this project. So this is one of the things we specialize in here. It's called Salanova lettuce. Okay? As you can see, these are beautiful, beautiful heads of hydroponic lettuce that just get grown by the bunch. And then I'm going to show you how later during the class, how I actually harvest this so that it continuously produces for the entire season. And we use this in our lettuces that we're going to be eating today in our snack. You can see this pak choy. I'll go through this later. I just want you to kind of get that. See all the jalapenos. We got a lot of jalapenos growing this season. Got a whole lots. So let's see, people I'll send home with jalapenos today. You see. So this is actually a bird / iguana deterrent. See, it's metallic. It crumbles. It makes a noise when it flutters. And when they hear that noise, they run. They don't like it. So as the wind blows, and well, I gotta get some more. See, it doesn't last very long. But this is one of the precautionary methods to keep away critters. And another way, as you can see, is if you look up, the city came this week and did their annual post-hurricane season tree trimming. And they did a horrible, horrible job. As you can see, they murdered my palm tree here, and then they just cut this tree back. And they said they had a license, but the way they did the job, I don't think they really have a license. And then here, this we got it kind of shaded a little bit because we want the rain to get stopped, so it's not as heavy of a downpour of rain. And then these are all the starter plants that we have available for sale today, tomorrow, until they're gone. Everything backed up that we have growing in the garden, we have pretty much here growing. This is more of that Salanova lettuce, so you see how that comes in. We've got radishes back here, oreganos, pretty much everything and anything. And if you go and you look over there, those are the tomatoes you planted as a baby. So about, what was it, 2 months, 6 weeks ago that you were here last, you took a tomato plant that was probably around this big, and with the proper nutrition, as you look off into the distance, you see they are probably 6 feet off the ground and bearing fruit. So if you go over to it and take a look, you see that most of the flowers are actually now in the process of turning because we are in the season and it's getting colder. And since it's colder, the flowers are actually setting its fruits. So as you come in here, and I've got a lot of work to do because all this needs to get tied up. But you see, we're looking at 6-foot posts, and if you don't tie them up, what ends up happening is you get a breakage. But I can replant that breakage and get more fruit out of it. But you can see very healthy. I'm not seeing much in terms of any kind of bugs, any kind of wear. But like I said, I'm going to have to go trim this week. That'll be my task for the week. But luckily I'm on Christmas holiday, so I've got a lot of time. But you can see this is what he planted 6 weeks ago. Tomatoes are coming in. Again, we're looking and scouting to see what we find. We'll see that there's some little burrowing as far as runners, but no hornworms, no worms, what I can see. If I look on the backs of the leaf, I'm not seeing much or any kind of white fly illness, but lots of little tomatoes, and these little tomatoes are what you're going to get today because I harvested the red ones, and I harvest them green. And I'll go over that today in the class. But I pretty much harvest most of the tomatoes when they're baby greens and they turn. And then we let them ripen off the vine so that we actually get them. So, it's funny that I mentioned this because I will harvest this at this color because it already fell off the tree. And this is a tomato San Marzano. You can see them growing. This we use for sauces. And reluctantly, and I'm going to say this with reluctance, I was hoping, I had a small red one on here yesterday, and I was hoping that it would still be here today so that you guys could see the proper time to pick it. The problem is since I left it on too long, like most of you are going to do, one of our friends in the neighborhood decided that he wanted a tomato. So he got that red tomato. But otherwise, we got plenty more coming. We've already harvested about 50, 60 fruits off of there. Probably about 10, 15 pounds. And if you're looking at in the store, they're about $4 a pound. So you pretty much get some good money out of it. Here you can start to see, since it is getting colder, we're actually getting the fruit to set. From the flower to fruit set to actually growing fruit. To actually growing more fruit. And again, we use the trellis or some kind of system so that they stand in place. More jalapenos, plenty of jalapenos growing in here. This bed is full of habaneros. This is the heat. Over there we've got more tomatoes growing in the center. And on the outside is arugula, and on the back side is actually watermelon radishes that we should get in about 2 more weeks. Bunch of stuff that's on the table, and then we'll kind of go from there, because what everybody always asks me is, how come your garden grows and mine doesn't grow? How come you have food and I don't have food? What do you do that I'm not doing that I should be doing? And I ask everybody all the time the same first question, and that is, what do you feed your food? And they look at me with this strange face, like I'm speaking a different language, and they say, we're feeding it water. And I say, that's your answer. That's your reason why you're not having a successful garden. Now, it all starts off with the soil that we're using, so that you want to create a good soil base so as to give your plant the best opportunity for growth. So as and you look, I asked for this proprietary stuff that I get up in Loxahatchee, that is this potting mixture that has a lot of nutrients already built into it. A lot of the foundation that's going to be good for the plants once they get to the point of needing nutrition. Where we were in the back, those little plants that are underneath that screen have only gotten nutrition in a liquid format. Okay? These towers that you see here only get nutrition in a liquid format, and that's a hydroponic nutrition system. And what we'll do with that is we'll feed it a combination of nutrients. And all these nutrients are basically found right with Mother Nature. So this is mined salt.
Mine salt?
Mined salt,
Oh, mine salt.
from
Okay.
England. Cliffs of Dover. 1500 as far as nutrition if you're looking at numbers, and I'm going to get into numbers in a little bit.
So that's the first number?
This is
15?
1500 is
Okay.
one of the ingredients that goes into the nutritional need for plants.
But this is, you're talking about hydroponics.
This is, yes, but it's the same. I
Okay.
need these ingredients
The same, in a garden.
in that.
Okay, got it.
Okay? But this is done for us so that they get delivered in nutrition format. This becomes my blend of physical nutrition. Now, if you look at fertilizers and fertilizer bags, they'll have numbers on them.
Right.
And all those numbers correspond to different nutrients from the periodic table that go into these products. So all those things is very similar to we as people, as humans, who take supplemental vitamins that have minerals in them, hopefully found and derived from nature, as opposed to being chemically altered. So if you ever see products from a big company called Miracle Grow, it's all chemically induced. Sorry to say. But this is all from plants. This comes out of the ocean. This is the numbers of nitrogen, phosphorus, as well as 70 other trace mineral elements. Now, it's the same principle for the hydroponics in terms of the need for nutrition as for the plants in the ground. Okay? They're getting theirs from the soil. And if you guys notice, as you walk around the garden, even where I'm planting, everything is in some type of raised situation. Nothing is directly on the ground, in the ground. I preferably will use these plastic pots year after year. It took me about 5-6 years to them before the sun will actually crack them because of hard plastic. There's a product out there, and I don't use it. I don't like to use it. They're called grow bags.
Yes.
You'll see them in many of a store, and they'll say they're the next greatest thing.
They're pricey.
They have a new kind now, too.
Bad news.
They fall apart.
They fall apart, they
we've
get
seen them.
moldy, they collapse in on the plant, they fold over when it rains.
So, and as bad as this is, I was the one in the store that I worked with 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that brought them to Broward County, thinking that they were going to be the next best thing in urban farming. And we sold thousands of them, and then 2 years later, they're full of mold. They're disgusting to use.
The bottom's rot out.
Bottoms rot out. You go to lift it up, the whole bottom drops onto your feet, and then you say to yourself, this didn't save me any time or money. So again, I just use the plant. I go back to old school. Whereas I could build raised beds, but even those raised beds out there, I'll show you, those raised beds out there are 4 years old. So they're falling apart. I'm going to have to do something for next season, depending upon if I'm going to do raised beds again. As you can see, I do a lot more with hydroponics than anything else. I like the hydroponics. And less weeds, easier to manage. And I've expanded this for those who've been here before. I had one tower here last year, one series of towers, which there were 8, and now I've got about 40. And I've got more going in. So probably next season, if I'm here, this whole section will be as well. I will do classes in the back area over there.
What do you mean if you're here?
Oh, we might be looking too far now. We'll see.
In Broward?
We'll see. So, going back to the story. So, potting mix. So in here, which I get manufactured for me at a big recycle place up in Waxahachie, by the pallet. So it'll be looking like Chuck. I just got a brand new pallet. We sell this weekly, goes in the gardens. I gotta go in the Holly, but I need 4 more pallets. But in here, this is a great starter blend. It's alive, so we know it's got dating on it, so it can be traced back. Whereas if you go to the big stores, they don't know when they bought those bags. They buy it by the truckload full. So they could be sitting there for years. And technically, what's in this bag is alive. We don't see it because we don't have that kind of eyesight. But it's alive. If you were to look under this under a microscope, you'll see worms. You'll see. So going back to the question at hand before, in regard to the larva breeding, that's going to become food for this stuff that needs to eat. The sugar that we're going to add to that mix becomes the sweetener in this, because that becomes the tea that we feed this. Because once we put the plant and we take the plant, because as I said, what I start most of these cups off in is much more of, I use coconut fiber, okay, which comes in bricks. And it usually comes in a 5 kg brick, which will expand with water. I fill garbage cans up with it. That yellow brute container I'll show you in a little while on the back is actually full of this bloom, because this gets mixed with something called perlite, which is in this mix, the white one, for that. There's no nutrition in this. It's just a very light, airy structure.
How much parts?
Maybe, again, it all depends upon the size of the pot. And you want to go about 4 inches down into the pot, because this guy is about 4 inches deep. So the roots are going to start getting the slow release fertilizer. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is open up the plant, pinch open my root base so that I get some nice elongated roots. I'll add this. This is all good stuff, or I'll add it to another pot that I'm starting, but no reason not to. Center the plant. Get some more soil.
Is basil like sun or no sun?
Loves the sun.
Love sun.
Loves sun. Basil will grow all year long.
That's why my basil's doing really well at school.
And then we just plant it, set it, and I like to set it in the center. And then I'll take another, and if you notice, for this 3-gallon plant, I probably put in maybe a total tablespoon of fertilizer in the whole thing. And then as always, I'll just water it in, because I never want to plant a plant and then apply the fertilizer in they call it a hot state. It'll burn it. It'll burn it. And even if it's going to go out into the sun will burn it because of the chemical reaction. Even if it's going to rain today, I'll still make sure that this gets wet. And for your purposes, or on the plant's purposes, when we go to harvest this plant, basil we harvest from the top. Okay? You'll see as we start going around the garden quickly, we will have to actually start at the outside, work our way to the inside. Now, again, one of the things that I always have around, or should I wouldn't bring it outside, is I will have alcohol, 100% isoprene alcohol around to clean my scissor or cutter after each cut of a plant that I do. I know you're looking at me, why do I do that?
No, I just never knew this.
That's right here. And the reason for that is I do not want to spread a possible disease from plant to plant. So if I go over to this, whatever, sage plant.
So you're saying your plants have disease?
See, I took from the top on the sage plant because the new growth will be spurred. I cut at the node. So now I'm actually ready for the next bud to come. These are on the misting system, so if you look above, it reaches here. It actually will reach to about here, and that's because of the emitters.
Not too much water on the tomato leaves? You won't get fungus or anything?
I will, but again, I water at specific times of the day, so that I don't water after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So they'll dry out by the evening time, and even in some instances, if it rains too much, like yesterday I was out here, I have a blower. So I'm out here blowing, on a big power blower. And then, to dry them off, because I need, again, bugs. What about, everybody says, well, what about the bugs? Why do you have all these bugs? Because I treat the plants every 2 to 3 days with a solution called neem oil. Okay, neem oil comes from a neem tree. sell it here. You can concentrate. I put it into a big spray bottle, or I recommend you guys getting these pump sprayers because you're going to get the top of the leaf and the bottom of the leaf, and it will coat the leaf overnight so that the bugs won't come to eat and chew on the outsides of the leaves.
What time of the day do you?
Usually 4 or 5 o'clock. So if it was raining all day and the plant is still wet, I'll come out with the blower and I'll blow everything for a minute or two. And then I actually use, because of the size of my, see, this is for an average gardener. They even have the small pumps.
Yeah,
They even have the hand sprayers. I graduated. So I have the electric system, which is a gun wand that I could put on. It sprays about 50 feet of solution in a cloud. So I just go through everything and it covers everything, and I'm done in maybe 20 minutes out here. But with this, I'd be here for about 3 hours. And then I have these labeled as such that this is a food fertilizer, and then this is my killer. So, and it's killer, it's an organic killer, it's called BT. It's for when I'm out here scouting and I see caterpillar or caterpillar presence. So if I spray this on the tree, in addition to the neem oil, it will kill the caterpillar and its larvae. And it's totally organic, it's alive, you don't have to worry about it. You can spray and eat the same. Okay? So what I would then do with this plant is put it out in the sun, doesn't need much sun, likes the sun. And then every 3 months, I make a mental note of it, I would add another tablespoonful of the fertilizer. And then, again, water it in, because again, that whole time I'm going to be eating off of this plant. So what you're not realizing is every time that we go to the plant and cut the plant, we're actually shocking the plant. Why don't you come over here? Let me cut some of your hair off. Your hair gets kind of shocked, you bounce, do whatever. Same thing with the plant. So we got to keep feeding the plant through the season. And as I said, one of the things that I'm kind of baffled with, I started speaking about it before, I'm a big feeder. You do things on repetition. And I've been feeding that mango tree in the needed times that it's been needing its food. And it's bearing flowers right now. If you look at the tops, and it's not the season.
No.
It should be doing that till at least mid-end of February. And it's not even Christmas. So it's telling me we have major climate change. It's the weather, the tree, it's not going on the calendar and saying, oh, I got Thursday off. It's saying it's February. So all of a sudden, because it's got the right nutrition, and I don't know what kind of, I'm assuming it's going to bear fruit. So I'm hoping for an early crop.
Let me know.
I know. You do both. But then I'll use those mangoes in with all these jalapenos that I grow. And I make jalapeno jam, because part of what I do as the gourmet gardener is not only teach you how to grow the food, but what do you do with the food afterwards. And then after it drops its fruit, which is usually by the end of June, July. Again, it really all depends. And if you really want, if you remember to email me in July, there's a great mango festival up in Loxahatchee.
There's another one down at Fairchild Gardens.
Yes. The only difference is that Fairchild Gardens, they're not the growers.
Right.
Other people are the growers. This is a family farm that's been established for 100 years up in Loxahatchee. They grow 15 varieties of the best mangoes you've ever had. They take you on a tour. It's family owned and operated. And it's really an amazing place. You just got to deal with the heat in July. But we've gone for a couple of years in a row, and it's just, you learn a lot because they teach you how to trim your tree, how to shape it. They'll let all their mangoes drop. First round of mangoes drop to the ground for its own fertilizer. They'll figure it. And then they'll pick up the harvest after that. So, but it's really a question, you gotta remember, if you're starting to cut stuff, you gotta feed it back. It's just not gonna grow back. These here will not need as much as those tomatoes in the back. So I haven't started with these on the feeding of the wheat tea yet, because these haven't even, these plants here are in this container 3 weeks from the 4-inch cup. And you can already start to see flower, nice fruit. And once I cut off these bottoms, I guarantee there'll be even more flowers tomorrow. you notice the flowers are on the top. So, and that's because of the cold weather. Now, because when they were this big, it was too hot. And then it set the fruit. So by next class, these things will be full, bountiful. So it's just the way it is. You see, another great thing about a system like this is the fact that these things spin. So I can sit here and harvest in one spot. I can turn and plant in one spot. It makes it real easy. You can see all these gorgeous jalapenos, hundreds of them. And it gets delivered through a water drip system here. So it goes directly through all the way to the bottom, and it drips itself out.
What are they? Are they in vermiculite?
They're a combination of coconut and perlite.
Perlite. Okay.
I could use vermiculite.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything just exploded. So, and now, I guess as we go around as far as how do I extract some of these things, how do I cut and harvest? You know, basically it's peppers we harvest, we take a clean cutter and just cut off at the stem. So, and, so you all know, if I were to ask you guys, first off, you know that these are fruits, right? They're all fruits because they have seeds. Which is the right fruit? The red one. So this is in the middle. It's starting to turn right. These are right. Some red, see all these red ones? These are right, and then when they get the striation marks, they're overripe. So at that point, I'll just bring them in the house. I'll cook them into something. I like to make them into jam, salad dressings, or just eat them raw. And then, as I can, and this would prolong, but if you didn't get more nutrition, see where I'm going, and I can feel this is starting to get a little dry, because I turned off the irrigation, and it's not really rain today. It'll rain.
I see it.
It might rain, but if not, again, I'll put this on from my home for 5 minutes, like I gotta go to the airport for a while, and by the time it'll just get its nutrients, because I've got those blue and whites in these buckets here. And now what I've also did is I've rigged the system so that it's coming off of another tie, so that actually the rain buckets are filling automatically, which is my newest thing. Because again, I'm coming out here every 2 days and filling up those buckets. It'd be like, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like an hour or two of your day, and then measuring the nutrients. So I just have the nutrients pre-measured. I come out here, it's already full, pour them in. 2-minute job, and I can get on other things. But that's pretty much the way that this gets done. And like I said, I'll just go around, and here's a perfect example. Here becomes a good example, and maybe this is going to be a good example for you, in terms of what's going on with the basil.
Flowers.
Yep. I've got 2 issues with this basil. One, it's grown too well. Because it's hiding back there. I can barely see it. See with the peppers. And then I've got some browning, which is a fungus, which there's nothing I can do about it because it's in the air. Because it's so moist. But the flowers are still good. You can eat all those. You can eat all the leaves. It's basically, but you see where the wood is? It will not propagate. I'm going to take this off. These guys off. Cut this back up. See how I left it with a cut? That goes into the water. Then I'll take half of these seeds off, and then half of these leaves off. And then this we regrow. And you did that, what, 10 days ago with a bay leaf plant? She's already got new nodes coming up. She does. So, and that makes me feel good. It works. I don't make this stuff up. You know, I can only teach it to you guys. It's like teaching stuff to kids. They don't want to listen. So I just put it out there, the information. I have from here, I got a mixed green salad. Baby pools around, there's little containers and stuff around, and I'll mix this individually up, and that'll go, and then I'll individually, as I plant, add this. And then I'll come through with the tea once or twice a week, and then I'll come through with this fertilizer every 3 months, and then the last thing I might do, depending again what the plant is telling me, I might do a topical Epsom salt nutrient spray of water and Epsom salt just on the leaf itself. But that's only in a very extreme condition, whereas it's a phosphorus deficiency and the leaves are yellowing and or frazzling. So I've done it on if one of my leaves are looking like this. I'd probably give this guy here some salt.
Right, you get the
but the new leaf is perfect. See? So that's sort of
That's what I read about that.
So, wait here, I'm going to mix some ingredients. Root vegetables. And I use just plain scissors. I use little cutters on the towers just to get little leaves. And again, I'll keep usually a little spray bottle of alcohol, just to keep the
Pure alcohol?
pure 100%. You want 100%. So this are all the greens off the back tower. There are also some sorrel leaves in it. You can see the red leaves. They're all grown in the back.
Sorrel, that's a red lettuce?
It's a red lettuce, red oak and red chard. And then this is the beet tops. These are some fresh tomatoes off the garden. Growing some peppers. And then this is I call it sunshine vinaigrette. So it's basically white balsamic vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, salt, pepper, and all the herbs from the garden, lemon juice, lime juice, and orange juice. So it's very, very healthy. And people usually, they've told me just for that.
So when is your cookbook coming out?
I don't know, soon. I have thousands of recipes.
For you.
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to do an Iggy book.
About this one?
Yeah, we're going to do an Iggy iguana book.
Yeah, Iggy iguana.
So I'm going to do a couple of bowls. Feel free to help yourself.
Anything you know.
With any tree or plant, there's only 2 kinds of bugs. So we kind of narrowed down the field. One is an outside chewer that'll chew on the outside portions of the leaf, and it'll look like they have little teeth crunch marks out of them. If you want to see it, I'll get you a sample of that. I have that happening. The other is the type of a caterpillar or a leaf borer, which bears itself in the leaf itself, and it has to either crawl out, and we looked for this morning in our scouting, and we saw it. So, if you look at this leaf, that's a leaf borer, okay? But he's no longer there. He went somewhere. He had to eat his way out of there. That's how he got out of there. Now, if he were to eat, they don't like to eat tomato leaves. They'll eat other leaves and other plants, but not tomato leaves. So this is more like a cabbage looper or something that's going to be eating more of a cabbage plant. So, but it will be eating it from the inside out. So if you look at responsibly, I don't grow with any fertilizers, any pesticides, anything bad. The only thing I can never get is organic certification because of the road right there. It was a great day here in the garden. We got a lot accomplished, a lot of happy faces, a lot of people learning a lot of different things. And guess what? Yes, the rain did hold off. We had a little wind gusts here and there, but nothing was damaged. Everybody had a good time, got to eat some salad. And so hopefully people take what they've learned today and utilize it in their garden so that they can grow their own food easily and inexpensively. If you have any questions, you can go to my website, www.thegourmetgardeners.org. You can email me at iiwgourmetgardener@gmail.com. And don't forget, we hold classes here in the garden every third Saturday of the month. So the next class will be January 18th, 10 a.m., and we're going to be planting our spring gardens. Hopefully we'll see you there. Thanks again. Keep on growing.